because the fucking raid training room, they quote-unquote fixed it, like a year or two ago, so that you could enter without having to be in a squad. Well, they fucking reversed it, and now you cannot enter as a squad. You can only enter as a party.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
But now they've updated the arena.
I think they haven't updated the PvP arena in the guild hall yet, no. But it's just like an area for us to gather. Zargholl, I think you can TP to us, or you would need to just go to the entrance for the...
So I would very much prefer to be in Special Forces because I can reset my skills.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That's up to you. We don't need to be in the same instance, I think. If one of you is gonna be streaming, I can just look at the stream. It gives me more info anyway.
Okay. I think I'll want to make sure that I'm in the same instance as you to stream you for sure at least. So let's split.
Caller Reapers are such edgelords.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and go to...
Zoa, real quick, what's your Twitch channel?
It is just Zoa Lara. It's the same spelling as my IGN. Okay, is there
I'm sorry for...
Oh, no worries. Is there anyone in particular who doesn't mind not like being in the same Special Forces instance as us? Well, I probably should have you on stream, I think.
I have to be in a Special Force training area. It doesn't need to be the same, I think.
Then I won't be able to like see what you're doing and stuff.
I'll stream. Look, I'll stream.
You'll stream, but I'm streaming on Twitch.
Alright, people won't see that.
Yes. So that's the thing, is that people who can't be here, we want to... Yeah.
Do you have like a split screen setup so you can show my stream inside?
Probably.
Inside?
Might be able to do that. Let's see. I'm going to go to...
You can like pop out the Discord stream window, right? And you can just show that like process. Should work.
Yeah, Tempest, if you're cool with chilling in the guild hall and watching on stream, we can do that. Yeah, and you can even watch in the Discord stream if you want. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So everybody else go ahead and go to the air room. I'm gonna bonk people. I got everybody. Okay. Oh, for some reason you're in a different aerodrome instance than the rest of us, though, Zargholl.
No. Alright.
Probably because we got here after you.
Give me one moment. Right down there.
Yes. You ready, Tracy?
I clicked it, but it didn't go.
Oh, weird. Okay.
So...
I'm very interested with what you're mentioning here about weapons, because I thought that the Reaper weapons were greatsword.
Right, so if everything's in order, we can officially start, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got greatsword staff.
Is it anyone here who doesn't know me? I suppose not, right? We all met.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Let me turn you on.
Yeah, it's not gonna get better from my side. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll turn you up just a little bit too. There we go. Tempest or Jen might not know who you are.
Jen. All right. Hi, Jen. I'm Zargholl. Nice to meet you.
Zargholl manages
Nice to
all
meet you
of...
too. Sorry, my computer's kind of slow and going back and forth. I'm trying to find it on Twitch to where I can watch his stream too, right?
He's
I'm streaming on
streaming...
Discord, just screen sharing. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I just need to click on Zoa and that's it.
Yeah, you can click. You'll want to click on Zargholl, but yeah.
Zargholl, I mean. Yeah, that's what I got. Okay, that's what I'll do.
Perfect.
Great. So I'm a guy. I know stuff, and I like to share with people, and that's my introduction.
He also manages like all of the necro builds for Snowcrow
I
that
get
does
help.
the meta builds for raiding. Yeah, you get some help. And you need the Connie Druid build.
Oh yeah, my baby. But it's making me sad. I'm not proud of it.
I'd love some Condi Druid tips.
I'm interested in what he said earlier. Dagger, no
With the
other weapon.
weapons?
Yeah,
with no other weapon. Yeah.
So, all right, you definitely need a great sword. Great sword. Sorry, I missed out on great sword. I didn't mention it because it's a no-brainer for me. Great sword is the only and the best power weapon we have on Necro. Then I'll be back. Really, what's going on?
Let's see.
Are we missing someone? Oh, all right.
I'm wondering if sword will be power.
Oh, I mean, a
me
soft
too.
speed.
Oh
no, so you're heading out.
What relic are you using?
Oh, sorry. You have to buy great sword. I didn't know. I'm currently using the relic of Ceres, but that's not the correct choice. Correct choice is relic of Fireworks. I like Ceres for open world because it looks... It just looks cool.
Wait, which one?
Ceres.
The Seraph relic. Oh, interesting.
It's for like open world only.
I used the Isgaran one with the orb around it. That's pretty cool too. But I mean, for damage wise, what would be a good one?
Fireworks. If you're planning to raid or strike with this, it's gonna be Fireworks. Basically uncontested. Oh no, the instant's all the left.
I know. I gotta to get Amina back in.
That's right.
We've all been booted.
So yeah, Greatsword is the only and the best power weapon we have on Necro. And if Power Scourge was a thing, Power Alak Scourge kind of is, but so they would camp Greatsword. Power Harbinger just camps Greatsword, right? And Reaper, Greatsword is the vast majority of our damage. The other weapon is just for flair, and I'll get to that. The current Reaper benchmark is like 41.5, 41.7. We're getting two swords, main hand and offhand with the next weapon expansion, mini expansion, or like just addition. You know what I mean. People hope it's power, but like realistically, we have in quotation marks power weapons already. We have like 4 of them. They're all bad, but oh, again me with the slowest loading screen in the world. All right, sure.
I beat you. I beat you, Zar. I'm very slow till I get my new computer.
Yeah, for some reason it put you and Amina in a different instance than the other 3 of us. It was very strange.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
So Greatsword is what you want. The other weapon set is not that important, like not at all. The Greatsword only benchmark is like 1% lower than the full Snowcrow's benchmark. So if you ever feel like the weapon swap is not for you, you absolutely don't need a second weapon set at all.
That's really nice.
If you're slow on anything, it might even be a damage loss to swap weapons. you have like a 1.5 or max 2 second windows in if you're doing it on like full speed, the rotation to swap the weapon and get all the skills out. And if you can manage to do that in that 1 second, or like you're a bit slower elsewhere, it might be a good idea to scrap the weapon set completely, the other one, and like play pure utility there. Which is also why we have like torch in the offhand. That's another thing. So first things to keep in mind: the other weapon set does not matter too much. It's purely situational, right? The difference between greatsword only and greatsword and anything is minimal. And as for the other weapon choices, staff got buffed like half a year ago, and buffed. It's decent, but yeah. Currently, the meta build is with a dagger and anything. I'll get to that. So the funny thing about staff offhand, yeah. The neat part is staff doesn't even grant more life force than dagger currently, so it's purely for the range. And even dagger has 600 range on both of the skills.
Nice.
So it's something, but if you need to stay ranged for like longer periods of time, staff is definitely the choice there. Probably, I'm not sure how new everyone is. I know like at least 3 of you play Reaper. Last person is brand new, I assume, since they're buying weapons. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well,
Nina
yep.
is a Guardian main.
And I'm a Guardian main, and I just started messing around. I've had the Reaper for a while, but I haven't touched her until recently, and I've been messing around on her, and I really love it. So
fun, right?
Reaper is is objectively the most fun class. I'm
you
sorry.
like my mini dunes?
I like it. I find my favorite first was the axe. Axe and
axe is fun. I like axe too.
It's really fun. So
on Reaper or like Necro?
On Necro in general.
That's interesting.
Necro, the Necro.
An open world at least.
It's really fun. But
that's sad. No, I get it.
None of the builds use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just run around and axe things, But
exactly.
The I haven't tried dagger. I've tried doing great sword and staff now, farming the labyrinth. It's kind of boring, the staff, but
it's nice for tagging.
So yes, it is.
So I'll show you quickly what the skills do for the brand new player. The auto attack is decently strong. It's really slow, even with quickness, but it is there and it does pretty decent damage as for auto attacks go. It's middle of the pack when it comes like across professions, but for Necro specifically, you'll see that it is really strong compared to the all other auto attacks that are there. You will see why. Second skill is a big bonk. It's a world finisher. It's just a big bonk. Third skill is about the same size bonk. It does a little bit lower damage, but it gives life force, a ton of it actually. I have some missing, 87%.
Now my question on that second skill, I've noticed when I'm using it, like on that one boss that you have to get up close to in the lab, if you're too close to the boss, it doesn't work.
That's weird, but yeah, it can be wonky. It has like slow. It has higher range, but is the radius, like the cleave cone, is smaller in Gravedigger. It's like more pointy. Pointy animation, and it hits 6 times. You can. It's hard to miss one of the hits, but yeah, if you like walk in, it can hit only partially. But yeah, this is your biggest.
Try to go up on it and see and do the second skill and see if you hit it. Maybe it's just me because it wasn't going off for the last 3 days. If I'm up close, right in the ring,
like inside of it.
I missed right now.
Oh, like are you trying to do 2?
Yeah, number 2 in the ring.
Talking about Gravedigger.
Oh yeah, if you're too close, it can go. Or like if you're turning your character, it missed just now. If you're like Yeah, it can sometimes miss,
Yeah.
whereas this one hits like even behind you, basically. Yeah, I just hit and I wasn't even facing the enemy.
So what's the option? Where would be the best spot to use the number 2?
Anywhere inside or near the hitbox, it sounds like.
So fun thing about like character turning, if you're holding the right mouse button, your character like your character is turning right now. It's not visually, but I'm holding right click and I'm facing that way. Right? If I go forward, I'm going that way. The thing about skills, most of the skills in the game, if you don't hold any input, it'll turn you towards the enemy. So if you're scared of missing it, just let go of your movement for a moment, and it'll turn you towards the enemy. Even if I'm holding right click that way, if I run, I'll miss it. If I run, I'll miss. Yeah, because I'm like going that way and it's trying to go that way, the skill. If I just stop moving for a moment, it should turn me towards the enemy. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Even if you're like backwards, if you don't move, it'll turn your character.
Yeah. If you aren't holding a direction when you hit an attack, it'll turn you towards it.
I sometimes use this when I'm like super inside a hitbox of a character and I'm not sure if I'm like behind it or, you know, if I'm like looking that way, I'm not sure if I'm gonna still hit it. I'll just let go of movement keys. That ensures my character turns if it needs to turn, because otherwise I would get like the I have no line of sight or something pop up because I can't like cast backwards, you know. This go I don't think there's skills like that, but yeah. So this is your main source of life force in Greatsword. It's a big skill. This is slightly stronger.
5.
But doesn't do anything besides that. Number 4 is a big pulsing field that blinds the enemy. The fact that it pulses, it's very important when it comes to Shroud because of traits and their interactions. We'll get there. And number 5 is a pull. You fire these claws.
Unmarked CC, by the way. On the tooltip, it does not say that it CCs.
It pulls, and it's a CC, and it doesn't say. Yeah, that's a. There's a pattern with tooltips being wrong when it comes to CC on Necromancer. So this CC is wrong.
As
It doesn't
guard
say
mains, you should be
this
used
is
to
wrong.
that.
Yep. So just assume all the tooltips are wrong when it comes to CC. But yeah, this skill is a pull, and it does some life force, some damage. It can miss. It can go off like ledges because it travels on the ground. Wait, let me cast it that way. It can sometimes not come back when it like falls off the edge. Just goes to Narnia. Doesn't come back sometimes. So that's fun, and it follows you. So if I miss it, I can go sideways and make it hit. But that's unimportant. Pulls enemies though. Pretty cool. Fun fact about this skill. Fun fact about these two skills, which will be very important later. This skill does very little damage for like how long it takes to cast it. Right, this whole bar takes forever. But actually, the skill can be interrupted. Skill 5. Yes, sorry for those who don't watch the stream. The skill 5, Grasp in Darkness, can be interrupted immediately after it starts, and it'll still go off even though you're not casting anymore. So if I like stow weapons right after the start, it'll still fire even though I've not finished it.
Unless you do it too soon and you cancel it entirely.
Yeah. And the neat part about this is that Nightfall, the skill 4, for no reason has a priority. So it's like heal. It'll interrupt whatever you're doing and cast the skill. So you can interrupt anything else with number 4, except like dodges, of course, and stuff. So the interaction between these two skills are you can cast this and immediately interrupt it by pressing number 4. This, I mean 5, of course. You can cast 5 into 4 immediately back to back and interrupt it with the other one, and they should still go off. There's a rhythm to it. You need to have like a
Oh yeah, I just
half
canceled
of
too fast.
15 milliseconds pause there to get them off. But yeah, if you look at my cast bar, for those who are watching stream, usually the cast bar looks like big cast bar, two of them in a row. If I do it fast, you'll just see one of them. The other one just flashes really quickly. It didn't even flash there, just disappears. So that's one of the
So you're doing
combos.
it like really fast.
You can do it really fast. The full cast is like 700 milliseconds. It can go down to 70, I think. So like 10th.
Oh wow, yeah, you can just bump them.
This is something you should practice and get comfortable with, because the number 5 skill is a damage loss to auto-attacking if you full cast it. It's not worth casting if it means you will like spend the whole duration on it, but if you cut it down to almost nothing, it suddenly becomes one of the best skills you have. Like, not like damage-wise, but damage to time spent on it ratio-wise, if you know what I mean.
Also, quick interjection here. Anyone who is in the Golem room, you can go ahead and add boons to yourself, because if you're practicing this, you probably want to have quickness on yourself as well.
That's very true. You will have quickness most of the time as a Reaper, even without the quickness support, because of your traits.
That's true, yeah.
One of the strengths, actually.
By the way, I'd like to say thank you, because last time you did the Necro class that did all 3 classes, you mentioned the Gravedigger spam, and my DPS got really nice after that. So, thank you.
There are a lot of people that have, expressed how much they learned from that and enjoyed it.
Oh, nice.
Myself included.
I love to hear that always, of course. Yep. Hope this continues. I have time all the time. You can just go ahead and ask me anything at any time of day. I'll make sure I can answer you. Yeah, immediately after.
Yeah, it's
like as soon as the skill starts physically, you can cancel it. So yes, you should treat the skill 4 and 5 as a single skill. You should get into the habit and muscle memory of these 2. If you can't do it for whatever reason, it's better to not cast 5 at all. But I believe in you. Can you weapon swap the same time after? You can cancel number 5 with a weapon swap or shroud, and still like get it to cast. But yeah. You will weapon swap after the 4 finishes. You cannot make the 4 shorter than it already is. I lost my thread completely. That's okay.
My DPS is going to get even better now that I know I can cancel 4 and 5 like that.
Yeah. But it's a double-edged sword. Of course, you can sometimes accidentally cancel other skills with the 4. But this way, it's better than like stowing your weapons to cast 5, because no one wants to stow weapons. I sometimes do when I'm like running and at range. I do just 5 and stow, or swap weapons and stuff when I cannot cast 4. But you don't need to know that. You will use that in like 1 scenario out of the 1,000. It takes some practice, though. This combo takes some practice for sure. There are a few things on Reaper that just take practice and muscle memory, but they're not like too difficult. Okay, let's get to the other weapons. This is where it gets fun, or not at all, actually. Depends on how you look at it. Canceling 4, you cannot cancel 4 accidentally. You can accidentally it has a higher priority. You can cancel other skills with number 4, but you cannot make 4 shorter. But obviously you can cancel it by pressing weapons, but that's a like full interrupt. It'll just not go off, and you don't want that. It can be interrupted. Yeah, number 4 can be interrupted, but it'll just not go off. The initial cast of number 5 can be interrupted, of course, with like the heal skill or anything else. It still works. You can go ahead and try it a few times. The other weapon set? way back. Sorry. It's skipping some aftercast. Oh, yeah. That's true. I totally forgot. Like, a lot of skills in the game, even Guardian, or like basically any class, they have like animations after the finish. Not sure if this one does, but you know, like the character is going back into position and stuff. So it's always better to press something after every skill. Like you skew skills together, so you get rid of the animations. You should like press an auto attack after all the skills. You should always be pressing something. It'll always increase your damage. Even if you're like auto attacking, it's better to press the auto attack, because what if the boss moves behind you? Suddenly your character stops seeing the boss and stops autoing at all. That's never good. So yeah, you should always be pressing something. And if there's nothing else, the auto attack. Other weapons, we used to run Axe. Axe is funny because it got buffed like 10 times over, and it's still bad because all the buffs were meaningless.
Oh.
They like reduced the cooldown, but we never cared about the cooldown because we stayed in Shroud between both casts all the time, so that didn't matter. That they increased the coefficient by like 0.05% or some ridiculous low amount. So Axe currently is very, very weak. And the auto attacks are atrocious, and this is a pattern. All the auto attacks on all the necro weapons except greatsword are atrocious when it comes to power, at least. Dagger is decent, but later. the weapon that we ran after Axe historically is Staff, which is currently still pretty strong. All the skills do the same thing. They all place a mark, and if an enemy is inside of it or walks through it, it'll pop and damage them. Number 5 is the strongest. Number 3 is a little bit weaker. Number 2 is a little bit weaker again, and number 4 is basically an auto attack. It doesn't do much at all. All of them has like some properties. Number 5 is a fear, number 3 is a poison field, 4 is a blast finish and condition transfer, and number 2, yeah, you don't care about that region.
Yeah, like
but
I cancel 2
go ahead.
sometimes. Is that the one that you cancel as well, Eve, is 2? Or just like any of them?
I think staff skills can be queued up one after each other unless you have like autocast on them. No. So nothing here should cancel anything else. Nothing has priority except heal and your shroud. The weapon swap and Nightfall, Greatsword 4, which we talked about earlier. So the only way you can cancel these abilities is by swapping weapons or entering shroud. If I just spam all my marks at the same time, they will just cast one after each other and not cancel. Does 4 have a cast time? Yes, it does. They're all pretty quick. They are all about half a second.
The tooltip says the cast time is 3/4 of a second, but
Yeah,
tooltips aren't
incorrect.
necessarily, yeah.
Yeah.
From what I hear, they're always wrong.
With quickness, they're all about half a second. Some of them are a tiny bit longer, some of them are a tiny bit shorter. But the 2 marks you care about are number 5 and 3. 5 and 3 are the big hitters. The other ones, you should probably not cast like at all, unless you're range, of course, and there's nothing better to do.
Or if you're desperately needing life force or whatever.
2, 3, 4, 5 in order. 4 doesn't cast. Ooh. Okay. If you press 2, 3, 4, 5, that's not because of the marks, that's because of how the game works in general. You can only queue a single ability in advance. So if I do 2, 3, 4, 5, I can queue 3 into 2, 4 into 3, and 5 into 4, of course. But if I manage to press, like, skip 1 and press number 4 before 2 finishes casting, it'll just override the queue and skip the ability that was there entirely.
Oh.
If I do 2, 3, 4, it'll just cast 2 and 4 because I pressed them too fast. Yeah, press a little slower. They're all half a second, so yeah, you don't have too much time to think about them, but yeah. You can press the next one while the previous one is casting, but not sooner. That's all. And the muscle memory you should get into is pressing them in order of 5, 3, 2, 4. If you care. 5, 3, 2, 4, because that's the order in which they do damage the most. Because when we get to the advanced rotations, you will want to do wells and enter shroud as soon as possible, no matter what marks you have left to cast. So you just skip all the ones that you can. In terms of value and damage, no, they don't have any interactions. You can blast a weakness or something, but no, it makes no difference. It's just that they do more damage. So it's if you go 2, 3, 4, 5, you will want to go into 5 and spend time on it because it's the most damaging skill. But if you go 5, 3, 2, 4, and in the middle of that you notice you should be entering Shroud, you can just skip the 2 and 4, or skip even 3, hell. You can just do 5 and then enter Shroud. It allows you to skip the weakest ones if you don't need to cast them. Yeah, just damage priority. Good news is you'll want to be playing with Dagger anyway, for the most part. So, strengths of Staff. Okay, let's get it out of the way. Staff is weaker than Dagger for damage. On single target damage, just purely on golems and raid bosses, Staff is barely weaker than Dagger. And by barely, I mean the difference on benchmark is not even 0.5%. It's 300 DPS, so it's absolutely irrelevant. If you like Staff more, you can play with Staff, or if it looks cooler with your fashion, sure. The damage difference is non-existent.
I just really also like the scythe effect.
Yeah.
Yes. It
really
does
cool.
look cool.
When it triggers, sometimes it doesn't even show up for me visually.
Yeah, if you press them too fast.
It doesn't.
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. That's visuals. But yeah, that's one of the reasons people are excited for Staff getting buffed, because yeah, we can use all the cute cool side skins now. But Dagger will be better for you in general play, so it's nice to know how to play it. So I'll get to that now. The other difference is, besides damage, Staff doesn't offer anything. It doesn't actually do anything useful besides damage, except it has range. And unlike one boss in the game, you can precast the marks on the ground if you want.
It is useful for HTCM.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because that's the only one where there's ads, or or if you really wanted to swap weapons in some sort of not boss related encounter, I would think.
Exactly. Yeah, the second strength, you're perfectly correct. It does cleave. It's a ranged cleave. All of them hit 5 targets. It's a big bomb for tagging enemies in meta events and stuff. And that's also why it's the weapon of choice if you want to stack Bloodlust on it. It's a sigil that for each kill it grants you a stacking buff for power. So if you're killing Spirit Run, that's where I use it in raids. You're doing Spirit Run and you tag a lot of enemies on Staff, so you get stacks to increase the damage you do. That's why it's pretty cool. It has low cooldown tagging potential for open world. But if you're soloing bosses or anything hard in open world, Dagger is gonna become better. I'll get to why. Dagger has a few skills, 3 exactly. Fun stuff. The auto attack is strong. Sorry, I got sidetracked. If you look at my life force pool, for those who are watching, I'm at 52. The neat part about dagger auto attack is not only the damage is like much better than staff auto attacks, even though it's close range, of course, but it supercharges your life force bar. So the autos, you just spend 3 seconds on it and your life force bar is full. It's really strong for life force generation. All of the autos are great for that, which is also why you sometimes prefer this weapon.
I have a very important question for you, Zargholl. What race is your necromancer?
Human female. I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's lame. It was my second character I ever made, and my partner made it, actually.
It was funny because...
I just wanted to know if the aesthetics were different for other races.
But then it was funny because all of us in party, except for you, are Sylvari.
Sylvari. Unfortunate. I know some of the cast bars are different. I think Shroud 4 cast bar ends in a different spot for different races.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, my my helm, which was like, it's a thing that makes my eyes all glowy, shows through while I'm in Shroud.
I've got a third eye from my dragon horn helmet.
Oh, why everything necro always becomes a fashion contest?
Guild Wars.
Well, also, we're all Sylvari, so we're automatically engaging in a fashion contest every time we play.
True. That's one of the great things about Sylvari, is they're really great for fashion.
They're so pretty.
All good,
it's
Meph.
like
We're
one
having
of the best parts about playing Guild Wars.
We'll have a fashion interlude while you have to BRB. Yeah, wait, go in Shroud, Eve.
That's not Shroud. Oh, you've got the pink glow from your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
And like the entire infusion, yeah. Yeah, it like glows through.
Alrighty, I have returned.
Welcome back.
You all look gorgeous. My necro main friends will be proud, for sure. Alright. Let's get to the skills. Dagger 2 is a short, quick cast, very brief, and once it finishes, after that it'll drain the enemy of life. It'll damage and heal you. You only need to finish the initial cast, then you can do whatever else you want. You can run away, you can enter Shroud, it'll deal the damage no matter what. This is good damage. This is a solid damage skill. That's why you play the weapon. They buffed it recently. This compares to like what 2 or 3 staff marks even. So it's pretty good.
That's just Dagger 2 does?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Apparently I need to get myself a dagger.
Yeah, there's a catch to it. And that's because it's a pulsing damage. It's over time, and you're not locked into it. It's like a Greatsword 4. You cast it, and then it starts doing damage, which is a big strength when it comes to trait interactions. So we'll get there when we get there. But remember that it does pulse damage after the cast. That's important. Number 3 is a damage button and immobilize, a boon convert or boon strip. Recent, gives some life force. It's pretty low energy, low damage, but it can be useful. You can stack you can increase the damage of Dagger 2 by entering Shroud, because you get a lot of bonuses in Shroud. That'll be part of the final rotation if you want to. The cool interaction between those two skills is that Life Siphon, the skill 2, does increase damage while the enemy is bleeding, and it heals you, and it heals you more if you are bleeding. And skill 3 is perfect for this. Yep, skill 3 bleeds the enemy and yourself. So if you cast 3 into 2, you will get both the bonuses. The enemy will be bleeding and you will be bleeding, you will heal more, and you will deal more damage. This is usually you don't care about that in raids, but in open world, ooh, super nice. It'll heal you for half your health if you cast them in 3-2 order. You will bleed
Ooh.
yourself and then heal a ton, which is really great sustain. And if you combine that with the auto attacks, generating a shitload of life force, if you auto attack for a few moments, that's amazing survivability for open world when you're like fighting a tougher enemy and you need to live for a moment. Be right back, sorry.
Oh, good.
Hmm.
Good aim.
Right now I've got an Ascended Greatsword and Ascended Staff. So I think that means I'll have to work on getting an Ascended Dagger. It's not worth it if I switch to an exotic dagger.
This isn't a very threatening field. I don't know. I think if I make it more threatening, though, it will be too much.
Hey Arnold, welcome.
Hey, Arnold. Oh, yeah. It's nice how it heals.
Arnold likes Reaper.
Arnold,
Right,
are you going to come to the Revenant class? Little plug for that as well. That'll be on...
Yeah, Arnold.
It'll be on the 17th.
To participate and watch it, or to conduct it?
Well, just to participate. I already
Okay.
have, but you're welcome to also do input if you want.
I'll leave it to the professionals.
Okay. Ooh, yeah, that is nice how much that heals.
Yeah, sorry for the freaking AFKs. I don't know. I'm still
All
at
good.
work, and nothing happened for like 3 hours. And the moment we start, like people start coming in.
Yeah, it's no
Stuff.
worries. Whenever you need to take a step away, like, it's fine. I can easily fill the time.
So yeah, if you compare this to staff, imagine Dagger 2 is the damage equivalent of staff 3 and 5, and Dagger 3 are the other two staff marks, which you usually skip if you don't have the time for them. So if you're doing a raid rotation, you will often be skipping Dagger 3 because it's like low damage. It's there just because you have nothing else to do, usually. Now we get to the offhands, which is where it starts being interesting. Except not at all. Do you have any weapons now? Yeah, we do. So necro offhands are famous, or infamous actually, for how useless they are when it comes to power.
Except for Greatsword, and then everything else is
Yeah,
shitty.
yeah. They're like,
Was
so
it,
necro
like-
had no like power options at all for a long time.
Was it like initially designed, like core class wise, like intended to be more of a condition based class?
For sure, yeah.
Okay.
It always used to be Condi, and more so like everything else got power crept. The first real power option was Reaper, and for a very long time, even to this day, the Reaper specialization and the Reaper weapon, the Greatsword, does all the heavy lifting when it comes to power. That's why there's no Power Scourge. That's why there's no Power Harbinger. The like, core Necro power, it just sucks. If it weren't for Reaper, which literally gives you all the damage you need, you wouldn't be playing power at all on Necro. So the offhands, where is this bar for those who are watching? There's a few of them, and all of them are purely utility focused. None of them do anything for your damage.
Sorry.
It's a free slot.
I need to explain what I just panned to on my stream on accident. I like panned or Photoshop on accident, which I have open, and it shows Wynn's Gecko saying, "I heard raids open, give them." So that just like briefly appeared on screen for yeah, no discernible reason. Anyways, yeah, it's a bunch of memes that we're making today in the guild based around people's pets.
Right. Yeah, offense. We suggest Torch because Torch has number 5, which is a knockdown, 200 breakbar damage. That's the only reason. None of them do any damage at all, so you don't care about that. So we suggest Torch because knockdown and some might, not bad. Although the other weapon I would suggest is Focus. You grab yourself. It's still not a damage button, but number 5 is additional wound removal for the fights where you need it. So number 3 will be wound removal, and number 5 will become wound removal. Once the enemy has 3 wounds or more, it'll actually be a good damage button too. But before that, no. And number 4 on Focus will recharge your life force and heal you for a considerable amount. It's a lifesteal damage. The double-edged sword of it being lifesteal, coded as lifesteal, means it actually doesn't do any damage, or not much. It cannot crit, it cannot benefit of your modifiers or anything. So the damage is low, but it's a nice heal and has 3 charges. So if you're in open world and you're fighting a very tough enemy, my go-to would be Dagger with Focus. Dagger has healing, Dagger has a great life force generation for when you need it in auto attacks. Focus 4 will also heal you, and if the enemy gets and does vulnerability, which is not an issue on Reaper, but it's nice to have. And number 5 is a boon strip, in case you're fighting a bounty that gets boons for no reason.
It makes me sad that Focus being such a cool, there's such a cool legendary Binding of Epos. And it's very Necro, design-wise. But yeah, Focus is not good for endgame.
But nothing is stopping you from playing Focus in raids, because none of the offhand do any damage, so you're free to play whatever you like.
Oh, so do all the equal amount of damage?
Yeah, equal being 0.
For some raids, I bet the boon removal is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Or I was doing fractals earlier, and Nightmare has lots of boon rips.
Exactly. So it's cool. And we already have a ton of CC on our bar as a Reaper, so Storch being there for even more CC, sure. It's whatever. You can play anything else you'd like. The other choices are strictly worse. Dagger is a Kundi weapon, and it's not even good at that. And Warhorn is a CC weapon, but Torch has more CC, so yeah, not good at that either. The only upside to Warhorn offhand is that it gives swiftness in open world if you ever need it. But if you need swiftness in open world, you can just run Speed of Shadows, the trait in Soul Reaping that gives you basically perma swiftness. So yeah. That's why we have really high hopes for the offhand sword, because all the offhands are so bad except Torch that it could add a lot to the class. Good. The main hands otherwise are Kundi, and Axe, which doesn't do anything. Dagger is strictly better Axe. I'm sorry, if you really like Axe, you're tough luck. Yeah. Dagger 2 is Axe 2, but it deals more damage. And Dagger 3 is Axe 3, but it deals more damage. All the same utility.
They should do something to make Axe stand out, put CC on it or something.
I think it's good in PvP or something, but yeah, it's definitely very, very low energy. Nothing special about it. Heal Scourge. Funnily enough, Heal Scourge can run Axe, because the main hand weapon on Heal Scourge doesn't do anything. So you can run Axe and just auto attack forever and use nothing else, and you upkeep vulnerability with it. That's the only use case right now.
That's funny.
I should briefly explain the traits and then get to rotation and practices and skills. The traits we run are these, if you want to take a quick peek. It's on the Stormcross website, of course. This is the default setup with your own weak links, and go on. For the traits, I'll just quickly run through them. Do any of you plan to play Reaper in open world? I highly suggest.
I have played it in open world a little bit.
That is the correct build, yep.
Yep.
So Reaper in open world is absolute menace. It's
so fun.
uncontested even. Yeah, you just, it's a slaughter. You run through ads and they're falling like leaves in the wind.
I got a quick question. I noticed your gear is the was it PP V, right?
Could you repeat that? I'll turn you up a bit. One moment. Yeah, go ahead.
I said your gear stats. Is it PPV?
Oh, the gear
PPV?
stats.
Or
what does PPV stand
PPF?
for?
Yeah, power,
Your-
precision,
PPF?
ferocity. So it's a mix of
Oh.
assassins and berserkers.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's a mix of assassins and berserkers. It's all berserker and just enough assassin's pieces to get you to 100% crit chance.
Okay, because I'm running ascended PPVF, so probably not, right? It's probably going to take
Fit
that
with vitality.
Yeah.
Not ideal for raids, but as long as you have decently high crit chance, it should be fine.
Okay.
For open world, it could be handy.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, which pieces need to be assassins?
So if you have full ascended, it's either optimal gear change if you don't have infusions. Yeah. So the website currently suggests Assassin's Helm, and I think 6 precise infusions. Yes. The options if you don't have infusions is Assassin's Helmet and Legs. Or
legs and helmet.
Legs and helmet assassins. Alternatively, none of these assassins and an assassin amulet. You're back.
Just the assassin's amulet?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So either
that's
helm
probably
and
easier for me to do.
leggings, or none of those two and assassin's amulet. Correct.
And that's if you have full ascended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either helmet and legs, or not helmet and amulet. Yep. Exactly.
Wait, is it... So it's either amulet by itself or leg and helmet?
Correct.
Yeah, I'll have to go get an amulet. Man, I can't do that right now, though.
Of course, if you're not full ascended, you might want to swap something else too, but it's not that of a big DPS loss.
I tend to personally keep my gear the way it should be when it's ascended, so I don't have to go look it up again.
Good. Yeah. Understandable.
You're going to be subpar when you're exotic anyways. Might as well save the data for the future.
Yeah, the difference between the Assassin's Helmet and 6 precise infusions, or Assassin's Helmet and legs, is like 1 power stat. So, yep, 1 power. Don't feel the need to get infusions just to crit cap. No, just get Assassins, something else. We run Runes of Dragon Hunter, or you can run Runes of Scholar. Dragon Hunter gives a little bit more ferocity than power. Scholar gives more power. The difference between them is in single digits of DPS. It's just a mathematical optimization. So if you have Scholar already, feel free to use them. For the sigils, they are force and accuracy. For the crit chance, yeah. If you want to be extremely sweaty, you can get a offhand weapon with force and impact, and use it on like 2 bosses in the game. Because I am sweaty, then yeah, I have a staff with impact, but my dagger torch is force and accuracy. Any questions for gear? While I'm here.
Nope, that was it.
If you wanted to mix dragons in, would that work at all? And what would the gear be if you mixed dragons instead of assassins? And how bad of a loss would it be?
Every dragon's piece you slot in will be a damage loss. Of course, it's all minimal difference, but there's no way to make this better. You just trade in a little tiny bit of damage for some health, and that's completely up to you. You for every dragon's piece you slot in, you probably want something else swapped back to assassins so you get the precision back. But I don't have any like, I don't remember any data on this, so you'll have to experiment. Right. Let's get back to trades. The default setup, of course, everyone knows that. It's on the internet. So, any notable ones? No. Big one from Spite is the Grandmaster. You deal a ton of damage under 50% of the enemy health, which has nice synergy with everything else we have in our kit, because there's a few different skills that also get increased damage under 50% health. So it just snowballs, and so the curve, you'll be steadily during the boss, you'll just stay in some DPS, and when you cross 50% threshold, you'll skyrocket and catch up everyone else. Just so you're ready for that. We don't have like the highest bench or the highest burst in the game, but under 50, it's where we shine. And the boss fights become harder under 50 and last longer, so all that benefits us with our survivability and independence on your team. So that's a nice bonus. Trade swaps in Spite, staying there, is just this one. It's called Dread, and it's absolutely amazing for open world and open world only. Never forgot to swap this off in instanced content. If you ever played it, I've made this mistake a few times. Iskall made this mistake a few times. You need close to death in actual content. It's too much of a damage modifier. But in open world, Dread is great because it makes your when you inflict fear, you give yourself quickness and fury, and you get fear from number 3 in Shroud. When you press it for the second time, it fears enemies around you, and that'll give you fury. And Necromancer is extremely bad at giving itself fury. This is the only source, only one of the 2 sources you'll have at all, so that's big. Sorry, be right back.
All good. Yeah, I very much enjoy yeah, fear. In PvP, I like doing builds that are based off of inflicting fear and doing damage with fear. There we go, there's a golem out there if people need to hit it. Ooh, do you have the whatever it is, permanent bank access express, Tracy?
No, I'm using a free golem right now. The one that only lasts like 2 weeks.
Oh, that's what those are from.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could pull an amulet out of my bank, and I couldn't. So this only has 2 weeks left on it now. Once you activated it, it's a 2-week thing. Yeah, it's a little annoying.
Great. I'm back.
I almost wish it was more of a you get this many uses out of it. That would be way better than a time of a week of 2 weeks. That's just gross.
Seriously.
All right, I will continue. Act like nothing happened. Yep, Dread gives you quickness and fury. We are starved on fury, and fury is amazing, so amazing trait when you're alone. It also recharges the skill that gives you fury, Shroud 3, when you kill an enemy. So you just snowball. You press this, give yourself boons, kill an enemy, press it again, and like continue, and you can stay in Shroud forever. From Soul Reaping, a lot of nice passive bonuses. The notable swaps are if you're playing staff, you probably want soul marks because otherwise staff marks don't generate in a life force baseline. So this is a good bonus. Otherwise, we take this for vulnerability passive. For open world, you usually also want speed or shadows. This removes your slow conditions, like movement impairing conditions from yourself, and gives you swiftness. Really good when you're alone and just running around to have at least some swiftness in your kit. So this is my go-to. From the master traits, there's only one swap I ever make, and that's very rare, and that is Fear of Death. Fear of Death makes your fears generate life force, and I take this always in combination with Dread, because this means I fear all the time, and kills recharge my fear button, so I fear again, and all the fears give me life force. I can stay in Shroud forever. It's not optimal, but it's a fun playstyle. You can just camp Shroud until eternity, just smashing through hordes of enemies, never leaving Shroud at all, and spamming skill 3. It's a cool interaction. On the Grandmaster, we always play Death Perception, and this is one of the traits that is very powerful because of pulsing fields. I'll skip this and talk about Reaper's Onslaught real quick. This gives you, it's the Grandmaster and Reaper trait line. It gives you ferocity and quickness while in Reaper's Shroud. The quickness is pulsing. You will have permanent quickness uptime while in Shroud, always. I'll showcase that real quick for those who haven't seen it yet. That's the wrong button. Remove my boons. When I have this trait, I enter Shroud, I will always have quickness no matter what. I'll just keep giving myself quickness until I exit Shroud. So that's amazing, which also means because you're in Shroud for 60% of the rotation, you barely need any wound support, like quickness support in your squad. If they die, you will still have quickness because you just don't care. You give it to yourself. People make fun of this, saying Reaper is the quickness support of the squad, but it supports only itself. So you need 5 Reapers in a subgroup. Fun stuff. The other part of this trait, which makes it powerful, is that it gives you 300 ferocity when in Shroud. 300 stats, that's a lot. That's quite the number. While in Shroud. And if you compare that with Death Perception, which I talked earlier about, this gives you increased critical damage while in Shroud by 15%. So you have 2 traits that boost your damage when you enter Shroud and stay in it. These stack on top of each other, meaning if you cast a skill and then enter Shroud, the skill will start doing more damage because you gain a ton of stats.
So what I'm hearing is drop 5 staff wells, enter Shroud, and then start an encounter.
Exactly. I'll show this right now. I'll drop a well, see how much damage it does. 2000, 2000, 2, I enter Shroud, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. So this I just showed these 2 traits. This is the core of your rotation. You remember all of your pulsing fields? What is pulsing field? Greatsword 4 is a pulsing field, and you have 2 wells on your right side of the bar. You drop these 3 back to back, Greatsword 4, pulsing field, and enter Shroud, boost all the damage with your Shroud modifiers. This is the core rotation. And you exit, you wait, and then you repeat. These 3 skills, enter Shroud. That's your burst combo. A lot of pulsing fields and then entering Shroud. There's this cool interaction with Dagger 2. I mentioned Dagger 2 does the damage after the cast time. Greatsword 5, 4, and Wells. Wells are your utility skills. I forgot to talk about utility skills. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Yep. Alright, I'll jump right there after. Dagger 2 does the damage later, so you can cast Dagger 2 and enter Shroud, and it'll boost the damage that it's doing. So that's another combo. Dagger 2 into Shroud. Yeah, you do that every other rotation in the benchmark one. Back to utility skills, which I totally forgot about. The heal skill is a no-brainer. All of them don't do much. Well of Blood resists allies, but you're not the healer, so you don't care. But Your Soul is Mine, the Reaper Shout heal skill, is extremely powerful. It'll grant you life force, as well as heal, of course, and deal a symbolic amount of damage. The life force regen is what makes it strong, because if you hit enemies, it'll generate more, and if you stand close to the enemies you're hitting, it'll generate even more. So this skill will just boost your life force. It'll give life force even when you don't hit anything, so if you're waiting for a boss to spawn and you don't have full life force, you can just cast your heal skill, get some life force back while you're waiting.
This is the
neat.
melee radius for those skills, by the way. This is 240.
Yep. The melee radius is 240. It's not... Yeah, it's like your auto-attack range. Nothing too big. But yeah, the shouts all hit in a fairly long... fairly large 600 radius. But you want to be melee anyway, most of the time.
Oh yeah, it's a big life force gain. You
should not use it. Yeah, you should not use it while attacking the enemy. If you can attack the enemy, you should be attacking the enemy. It doesn't do damage. But if you can't attack the enemy, if it's invulnerable during the break bar, or you're just waiting during downtime, you should definitely be casting this skill to get some life force back. But it's not a damage button. The damage is very low. Yep. The other skills, Summon Blood Fiend does like 100 DPS, Signet of Vampirism does like 100 DPS if you're literally inside the enemy. So they're all extremely low value, so we default to the Shout because it does something we care about actually, that's life force sometimes. And it's the highest healing there is from the skills. Then we have 2 wells. This is the default setup for raiding. It's a Well of Darkness and Well of Suffering. It's the two wells that actually deal damage. Well of Suffering is the stronger one. The actual effects on them are pretty meaningless, but point is they're pulsing damage, which, as I showcased, you can drop them and enter Shroud and then boost the damage, which instantly makes them way more powerful and valuable. The order does matter, but it depends on how comfortable you are. So because entering Shroud cancels whatever you're casting, it means you need to make sure you're not canceling the second well. Why it matters is if you cast Darkness first, that's the lower damaging one, and then Suffering, and then enter Shroud, the first well will pulse once before you get into Shroud, dealing a bit lower damage. So you want to cast the lower damaging one first. So the higher damaging one gets all of the damage inside Shroud. But if you're not comfortable with it, if you enter Shroud too early and you cancel the second well, that's bad. You should never cancel a second well by accident, which of course does happen if you're impatient. And if you find yourself like doing that a bit, like not getting the second well cast, so you cast both of them but you cancel the other one, then you should swap the other around.
More people showing up.
Yeah, it's getting annoying. What the hell?
It is, yeah.
Always.
Can't believe it's at like 4 in the morning over there.
Yeah, like yesterday and tomorrow, I will not meet a single soul for 6 hours. But now, when I'm trying to actually talk, it's like, you're all coming at this time. Yes, exactly this time. Yeah, if you sometimes cancel the other well, it's better to cast them in the reverse order. So if you cancel it, you cancel the lower damage one.
Okay.
But I'd prefer you just like spend the time and learn to not cancel it. That's the best solution, of course. Just don't cancel it, and then you don't need to worry about the order.
Oh, I need to make that a heftier golem.
You need to wait for the full bar, yes. There's a small window of a few milliseconds that you can like enter the shot a bit early without canceling it, but yep, it's better to definitely make sure the cast goes off. It needs some practice. But they're both really fast, the wells, so.
When you go into Shroud, is it that you do 2 first and then you do 4? Or is it that you do 4 immediately? Or was the old, maybe the old rotation was it was 4 immediately?
All right, I'll get to the next skills later. Let's talk about this. Yes, the current rotation on the website does two first. Is anyone here trying to reach 100% benchmark or like 99%?
Eve might be. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get better.
Sure. Yes. Then I will talk to you later about this, and I'll actually give you advice about autocasting Shroud 2. This is for the actual last percent of the benchmark. You'll want to have this autocasted. For everyone else that is not like actually beating records on this class, forget Shroud 2 exists completely.
What?
Okay. Just trust me, you don't want to deal with this. This skill is like 5% stronger than auto attacks. It's barely a damage increase. And that's if everything goes to plan, and that's the biggest catch there is to this skill. This skill alone has like 5 different bugs on it that all lose you damage. And unless you know exactly how those bugs work and how to avoid it, there's like a very high chance that if you use this skill, you're actually losing damage to if you were just auto-attacking instead. I'll show you a few of the bugs if you want. For those who are watching my stream, I can show you the Shroud 2 bugs. I'll use this skill just so you trust me. I'm not like making stuff up. Shroud 2, 31k damage. I used it a few times, 31k. Last, 28. Okay, that's just weapon strength. 31. Let's say that's 31. I'll use it now, and oh, 14. Cool. 18k damage. Wow, what's going on? That's weird, right? Suddenly just stopped doing damage. Oh, 18k damage. Yep, that's one of the bugs. It sometimes just doesn't do damage.
What? Wait, how are you reliably getting it to do that, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, you need to keep in mind like 5 different things. You have to keep track of all of that. The easiest solution to prevent that is not use it, of course. The second solution is you stand inside the hitbox perfectly without turning your camera or looking anywhere. The boss has to not be moving.
Oh.
And
so if you move
maybe
at
a few
all
other things.
or something,
Yeah.
it'll mess it up.
If I'm standing inside, it'll do damage. If I'm standing 1 millimeter away, it sometimes just does not. It also doesn't do damage if you're on any elevation, so like if the ground is uneven, it can miss. If the boss is facing a weird way and you're facing a weird way, it can sometimes turn your character like to the side and miss the last hit. And the list goes on and on. And if you miss a single of the 10 hits it does, auto attacks would be better already. Fun fact, it says it does 8 strikes and then a final one. That's incorrect. It actually does 9 strikes and then final one. Another tooltip broken, but yeah. So if, the good part about this, the cast time is about the same as an auto chain. So if you look at the rotation on the website, whenever you see Shroud 2, just imagine there's an auto chain instead, like 3 auto attacks, and it'll work. The rotation will just work the same, but it'll be more reliable. Another thing with Shroud 2, you might notice when I cast it like this, I'll stop at the enemy. I'll stop near the enemy. Oh, I missed a lot. I missed all the hits now. Perfect. But it should stop me at the enemy, right? No matter where I'm standing, it should stop. But look what I can do. I can cast skills, and I have 2 high ping. Okay, Amazing. It sometimes doesn't work, and you go through the enemy.
Yeah, I've heard about people having that issue.
It's called a yeet bug. It sometimes just ignores
Sorry,
the enemy and goes through.
A yeet
I
bug?
cannot replicate it. Yeah, you just yeet. Unfortunately, can't replicate it right now because, of course, the moment I'm trying to show it, it doesn't work. It's pretty... I know how to avoid this bug. I know how to cause this bug. But there are so many rules to this that yeah, no. So imagine you're like fighting Zera on the edge, or like Deimos on the edge. You do your combo and then you just yeet through the boss and die to fall damage. Yeah, not a good experience. Exactly. So don't use Shout 2 if you're not reaching like the perfect heights, the final percent. It's not worth it. You will save yourself a few vibes and deaths, and probably also do more damage in most scenarios. Yep, gap close, of course, yeah. For gap close,
Ooh,
it's
yeah,
good.
it's nice for that.
Any... that's not related to Necro specifically, but damage uptime is your biggest source of advantage, like compared to other players. If you are at on the boss 1 second early, you just gained an advantage. It'll take a while for the other player to catch up on you. That's why everyone is playing like Mesmer portals on high ends, because if the squad is 1 second early at the boss, you just gain 300,000 damage for free of 1 second squad DPS. That nothing the players could ever do would get the damage like back. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Like, you can't overcompensate on the other
Yeah.
end. Just flat out extra damage.
Yeah, like no matter what you do, if the Mesmer takes Portal instead of a utility skill, he's losing 1k damage on bench, which is 1k damage out of 300,000 per second the squad is doing. So you go from 300,000 to 299 because a Mesmer lost a utility skill, but you literally gain a whole second on the fight because the whole squad is there earlier. And the same goes for everyone else. DPS uptime is king. Every second you're not attacking boss, you will never make up for again. If you're doing 30k damage for 30 seconds, but you stop attacking for 1 second, suddenly you're not doing 30k, you're doing 28. I'm just making up numbers, but your damage goes down significantly. So of course, if the boss moves, always chases with a 2. Even if it doesn't do damage, just the fact that you're there a second earlier will be better. Yeah. Before I get to the skills, the burst rotation we just saw is Greatsword 4, which also means Greatsword 5. It's one skill. Think about it as a one skill. So you do 5-4 into Well, the second Well, and enter Shout and start blasting, auto-decking. Yep. So 5-4 Well, Shout, and auto attacks. You can try that a few times. Feel free to. That's the burst. 5-4 instantly. Well, the other Well, and Shout autos. So from Shout skills, while I'm there, number 3 is a very, very cool damage reduction and gives you stability. It's an instacast, so it doesn't take any time. You can cast it while doing other things.
I noticed
The
that
damage
was
reduction
in the
Yep.
bench, or on the rotation, I mean, right?
Using the 3?
I thought I saw that on there somewhere,
Yeah.
or in the bench.
Definitely.
Why is that?
Because we want people to learn the muscle memory to use it and press it every time.
Just to like ensure stability, basically.
It does
damage reduction.
It does 0 damage, but you need to have the habit of pressing free, just like flipping it once, not the other part. But you should have the habit of pressing it all the time. It's literally free, you can do it every shroud, and there's no reason not to. You're saving yourself life force. if you expect like a big hitting skill to hit you, you should like delay it a bit to ensure it hits you while you have the insane 66% damage reduction up from it. This skill protects your life force bar, and your life force bar is your damage meter. So you should learn to play about it. If the boss is doing like a knockback attack, you should flip your Shroud 3 to give yourself stability and avoid it. Exactly, it is an indirect DPS game. Good point. The other big hitting skill in Shroud is Soul Spiral, the number 4. Ooh. My tongue is giving up. Good, I can't speak anymore. Never could have in the first place. I know, now I'm fine. Yep.
Okay.
Number 4 is a big hitting channel skill, spins you for a while, does a shitload of damage. Good skill. It's really strong. So the actual burst, if you wanted to go for full out burst, would be to start with immediately. 5-4, well, not Shroud 4. That's the burst. But actually, the rotation currently delays Shroud 4 by a few seconds, because it has a recharge of 25 seconds, and if you don't know what Relic of Fireworks does, Relic of Fireworks give you bonus damage, like just 7% strike damage for a few seconds, when you use a skill that has a recharge time of 20 seconds or more. Literally reading the tooltip, I don't remember this. Oh, I do, joking. But this does count Shroud skills. So Shroud 4 will give me Relic of Fireworks. Will activate it. This is why we delay it, because before that, we get Relic of Fireworks from Nightfall, from Greatsword 4. Greatsword 4 will give Fireworks once, second time, third time, fourth time. On every pulse, it'll refresh Fireworks, but it keeps hitting. This is why we delay Shroud 4, because we want to time it just about right when the Fireworks is about to drop, so we get it again. Yep, you should bump Shroud 4 immediately, but this is like extremely short phases. I'm talking like 10 seconds. If it's longer than that, it's better to just delay it. If you can still get Shroud 4 inside the phase, there's no reason not to delay it. You'll refresh the Fireworks. Like Zera is longer than this. But like Zera pre-event, yeah, sure. Then you just pop Shroud 4. It's high damage, it's good damage. But you're not losing damage by delaying it, you'll just get the damage later. So you're gaining damage actually in the long run because you have higher uptime on the buff from Fireworks. Shroud 2 does take a while. Yep. Indeed, and Shroud 2 is... the damage is low, it's just an auto attack.
Zargholl, are we supposed to do Shroud 5?
Oh, yes we are. Good question. Shroud 5 does damage, does stun, does ice field. Don't really care about that one except for break bars sometimes. But it does have recharge of 25 seconds, which means it procs Fireworks. And this is the third skill we use to proc the relic, and we use this as we're leaving Shroud. So the Shroud rotation would be, I'll showcase it right now for those who are watching, the combo opener. Wells, I cancelled my second one, amazing. You do the combo, the burst combo, so Greatsword 5-4, well, Shroud. You auto attack for a few moments, then you do Shroud 4 to refresh Fireworks, then you auto attack again for a few moments, then you do 5 and exit. You do number 5 Shroud, so you get the Fireworks back to cover the time you're outside of Shroud before you get Nightfall again. And these 3 skills, so Nightfall and Shroud 4 and 5, if you spread them out like this, it'll keep the Fireworks forever. So Shroud 4 will keep pulsing Fireworks quite a while because it lasts a long time. Then you get Shroud 4, which refreshes it. Then you camp again, then wait. Then you do 5 and exit. and 4 is backup. And you just repeat. This is how you upkeep fireworks. So every time before you exit Shroud, you do Shroud 5. Cool. Small information, absolutely unnecessary and irrelevant. Shroud 5 actually has a slightly shorter cast time when you exit Shroud while it hits. But it's minuscule difference, but yes. It has like an aftercast that you can cancel, you can like exit Shroud during it. So it's really hard to miss, and like you cannot waste time on this skill. We have a newcomer. Welcome.
Yeah, who did we...
Who is this?
Oh, hello,
Windfreeze.
Silver Bunny. Oh, Wind's been here for a little while.
Oh, really?
Silver Bunny is who just joined, but Amina is having to drop out. Yeah, thanks for coming, Amina.
Yes, of course. If you ever have more questions or want to catch up, just throw me a message. I'll give you a personal session. Bye.
I had a request to call you Zargholl.
Oh, no.
Slyly. And I worked it in there, but there was no reaction, apparently, because I went too shy uwu mode after saying that.
Oh no. I'll just add it to the long list of names I've been called. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. You're used to me calling you various nicknames.
Everyone just butchers my name all the time. Yeah, I'm used to that.
Well, you've got a lot of good. It's despite being very like interesting. Like I wouldn't have thought of like Zargholl as a name. It lends itself to a lot of good nicknames, like Zarbinger.
Yeah. Question by Eve. I don't know about the cast bar, what race you are, but just look at the hit when it happens. It's a long cast with a hit. Bonk, and you exit when you see the number pop up. As soon as it lands, yep. That's it. I don't look at the cast bar here. I don't even know how it looks. I look at my animation and like, bonk, exit. It's very satisfying.
I love fireworks rune. It's so satisfying. It's like a little party.
It is a little party. I'll reset the color real quick to get out of combat.
Okay.
That's the core rotation. I'll go over it once again in a moment. I wanted to finish up on your utility skills because that's another section which you should know if you want to play Reaper in raids. The default is a shout. It's called URL Weaklings. Gives you some might, is a stun break and does damage. Notably, it's an instacast. You can be casting other stuff while pressing it. Really cool. Being a stun break is useful when you like expect to get stunned and you don't know where it's coming to avoid it. You can hold on to this ability. You will use this once every loop, no matter what, and you cannot speed it up, you cannot slow it down, you cannot fuck it up. So you can hold on to this for as long as you want and just save it up.
Is it like really bad if you don't immediately cast it as soon as it's off cooldown, pretty much? Or within like a couple seconds?
It doesn't matter. As long as you cast it in between one shroud and the other shroud,
okay.
You can cast it on cooldown because you get the damage sooner, but no, you don't need to.
It won't make a significant difference in your damage.
It won't make any difference in the long run. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Actual zero difference. As long as you cast it, period,
yeah.
It's fine. You have a window there. The rotation, the loop, is 20 seconds. Takes about 20 or 21 seconds, the full loop, until it repeats. URL Weaklings is 16 with Alacrity, so you have a few seconds to spare, which you can delay it every time, every shout. Cast before certain other skills. It is best to cast before Shroud. because Shroud is your burst, so you get the extra might for it in case your supports are, I don't know, watching Netflix. And because Shroud, of course, locks you out of your skills, so you don't have a choice. You have to cast it before you enter Shroud, otherwise you just can't. Yep, stack it with Wells is a good practice. 1, 2, Wells, Wells, Shout. Shout and Shroud. That's when you cast it in the opener, just with Wells. But because it has lower cooldown, each loop you can cast it a bit sooner. Until you run into a wall, you cannot cast it any more soon, because you're in Shroud still before that. So, but yeah, if you slowly move it forward in the loop, like casting it a bit sooner every loop, that also means you have it up when you're about to get stunned, for example, and you can use it as a stun break. But you can also delay it every time for your burst to guarantee you get the might from it, and that you can actually do a burst without getting stunned. So yeah. But as soon as you enter Shroud, you have stability on number 3, so you don't need it there. The thing about it's good damage. It's solid damage because it doesn't take any time. But of course, this is the skill you will always want to swap when you want to get other skills. Other skills can be basically anything. I will probably not go through all of these skills. I did that some time back.
Necro class.
Yep, I did that when talking about Necro, so it's probably somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, I have it posted, and at some point I will. It's in our announcements channel. For those of you who are watching Twitch who might not be in the guild, it's on both my Twitch VODs and in my YouTube, which is under my same name, if you want to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. So yep, your weaklings goes away for I saw a worm there. Good. Sure, you can play worm. Anything else you don't need. It's a very low damage skill, so it's just utility. You should always aim to swap this, of course. You want to be useful to your team and do other things than just damage, so get rid of it. For the elite, this is where we run into tooltip issues again. You will want to be playing Golem. Golem is the most insane CC skill in the entire game. It can do absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage because of how it works. When you have Golem spawned, it'll passively do about 1k damage just by auto-attacking, so not bad, nothing too great. It's there. But why we play it is for the active part, which makes the Golem charge at the enemy, knocking people away and down and back all along its path. And that's what makes it ridiculous. The tooltip is wrong in all the ways it can be wrong in. So the tooltip, it says 332. It adds up 1 second knockdown with, I don't know what, it says 400 launch. It doesn't work at all, but it's wrong anyway because the knockdown is actually 2 seconds and not 1 second. So the numbers it's adding up are wrong too. So the tooltip is wrong, but it's double wrong because Golem never does 332 breakbar damage. It does anywhere from 400 to like 1,500 or something absolutely ridiculous because it hits all along its path. So when a Golem charges, show it real quick, press the button, it'll go, and the whole time it's running, it'll keep knocking people down back. So if the boss has a bigger hitbox, it'll hit the boss multiple times all along its path.
Oh, were you adding the?
No, I was not, but yeah. Like Star 5 on Earth. Exactly. They'll just keep knocking down. So on a huge break bar like Samarok, or on like Kadim the Beatless or Sabir, when it cannot go through, so it'll just stop near the edge, it'll knock it down a ridiculous amount of times and do fuckload of damage. Fuckload of break bar damage. Sorry, of course. So amazing skill. Not 332. People read the tooltip and think, oh, 332. Look at Chill to the Bone. That says 500. No, wrong. Golem is like 1k. Chill to the Bone is actually only 300. This tooltip is also wrong. So don't get baited. Diagonal best. Doesn't matter. The golem is an AI, so it'll do just its own thing. You don't have too much control about it. Of course, if you're attacking an enemy and want to CC someone else, you first need to like swap your target, press your auto attack, so the golem is like, oh, I'm attacking someone else first, and let it run to the other enemy. Then you press the button. Because if I'm too far, where's my golem? I don't have a golem. If I'm too far from the enemy, the golem will not reach it sometimes. It'll just like start charging early and barely reach it, so you don't want to do that. You want to have the golem first walk up to the enemy, then you press the button. I can send it.
What on earth happened to the
Not sure what you mean, but always send it. Yep, hit one basic, exactly. So my golem is AFKing here. I will tell him, yo, attack that enemy. It goes, and then you press the button.
So I think on the bench, it uses chilled to the bone, right?
The bench uses golem.
It does use
because
golem.
It's free.
Okay.
Yep. But good point. Chilled to bone is absolutely amazing, everywhere except raids. So in raids, chilled to the bone doesn't do any damage, and the boons it gives are irrelevant, and the CC golem is better in that regard. Okay. So you don't care about anything this skill does in raids and strikes. It's always golem is better. In all scenarios, basically. Except HTCM, but I don't think any of you play HTCM currently. And if you did, you would probably know this.
So chilled to the bone is specifically good for HTCM. Yeah, a few of us do.
I haven't beaten it on Reaper yet, but I've beaten it on some other things.
Yep.
But so yeah, chilled to the bone is really super, super, super good for that.
Exactly, for multiple reasons, for like countless reasons.
It like trivializes giants so hard, it's great.
Interesting.
Exactly. But for those plebs who don't play HTCM, sorry to call you that. Now I'm joking. I haven't played it either. Chill to the Bone is your go-to pick for open world because all the things it does. So 2 hours on Reaper before
for each foe you freeze.
Yes. Chill to the Bone will
additional
enemies
stun duration when striking.
Chill to the Bone does 2 seconds stun in 600 range. And in melee range, it does 3 seconds instead. It's not extra 3 seconds, it's just 3 seconds instead of 2.
Yeah, I can see that's handy for giants.
Yep.
Since it's multiple, because
really
Flesh
good.
Golem is only one target.
Yeah, look how huge
Giants,
the range
champions, all phases. It's really good.
In chat, we've got that Arc DPS was bugged in Golem / Spectral Grasp / most Necro skills don't show up on the CC meter. That's definitely
Chilled to the Bone didn't.
Yeah, Chilled to the Bone does not. Spectral Grasp, I think does.
I think that one did. Yes. I think that one did. But Chilled to the Bone 100% did not.
Specifically, Chilled to the Bone did, but it's bugged, and I've talked with the devs. They've talked with me, and they cannot do anything about that. It's because how the skill is coded. It doesn't stun. It says it stuns, but it applies a debuff that's called Reaper's Frost. It's the cool effect of like the ice shards. If you ever use it on like ads in open world, you'll see like they're frozen.
Yeah.
And that's like Reaper's Frost debuff, which is absolutely untrackable in Arc DPS, and they cannot do anything about it, so it will never count. But almost.
Interesting.
They don't know how to find the effect. It's not a stun. If it was a stun, it would be easy. But yeah, in open world, this is insane radius. It hits the golem from over here, so all the enemies in this range will be frozen. I mean, not all 5, of course. And you'll get stability and might and fury, and it's great. You're doing a meta event. There's a bajillion of enemies. You press this skill, you get like 20 stacks of stability. You get instant might, 25 stacks. You get fury forever and quickness forever. This is your go-to. This button is amazing. It's just too good. And I pair that with Ceres because I enjoy the effect. You cast this skill, you freeze everyone around you, and then huge eye appears and kills everything.
Ceres is so fun.
Yes. That's the only reason I play it. It's fun. And also in open world, Golem will keep you in combat when you don't want to be in combat. So just get rid of this guy. Play Chill to the Bone. It feels amazing. Yeah, Spectral Grasp can multi-hit. It does a shitload of CC in certain scenarios, but I've talked about that in other guides, so I'll just skip over that. But yes,
What
in general,
about
all the utilities are good.
Lich Form for bursts?
Leech Form for burst. Good topic. It's not easy to use. Let's put it that way. So for Lich Form specifically, it takes a long time to cast, and the only skill that Jesus, jump scare. The only skill that
Look at
does
all
damage.
us liches hanging out. Sorry, I just find that so entertaining. It was all in the exact same form and everything.
Oh, cool. Role players. I need to get Ceres off my bar. One moment. Alright. So Lich Form is sad. It has a 2-minute cooldown or something over. And actually it has lower weapon strength than it does in PvE than it does in PvP, which makes it extremely weak for damage.
Yeah.
The only thing it's good for damage is number 4, and that's because casting 4 means you don't have to use Lich Form. Casting 4 summons a bunch of minions, and they'll just vibe and die after a few seconds. And the explosion, them dying does damage.
Okay.
The only reason this is good is because you can, if they hit while you're in Lich Form, they would tickle the enemy because of how weak the weapon strength of Lich Form is, specifically in PvE.
Oh, because it totally drops your equipped weapons?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
lose a lot of stats.
Yep.
Plus, like,
not
your
stats,
force
you
signet,
lose the...
right?
Yeah, you lose weapon strength. Not sure you're familiar with that, but yeah, basically you just lose damage if you stay in Lich Form.
Okay, so
and
it doesn't
why it's
actually
good?
change your stats. You get it. It's not like
Yep.
actually dropping, like unequipping
No, yeah.
your weapons.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's using a different like number for the damage formula. It's math stuff.
Yeah.
Why it's good is because you can exit Lich Form and then enter Shroud before they hit, which means the explosion now benefits of your Shroud modifiers.
Oh,
I can actually
that's
show this real.
nice. You don't even have to, like, you can just directly enter Shroud from Lich Form.
You can, but you don't want to.
Oh,
I'll show
okay.
the burst later. I'll show you the damage difference of the golems right now. If I stay in Lich Form, the explosion does around 5k damage. If I instead cast it and go into Shroud...
Tracy, I don't know how to help you.
They do 7 instead. It's 2k damage for each fella. It's a significant difference. I'm stuck in Lich Form. Auto-bouncing me back in. What did you do? Ooh. Did you auto-cast it by accident? Is there
putting the
arrows
shift click
around
thing
the
on?
skill?
So is the reason why you don't want to just like immediately go into Shroud because you want to do like the rest of your opener?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Lich Form is only precast. You never want to cast the skill if you can attack the enemy already. It's a insane damage loss. You basically spend 2 seconds doing nothing, just casting the Lich Form and the skill 4, just to get a few thousand damage out of it later. So if you can attack the enemy, you should be attacking the enemy and forget this skill exists. But if the enemy is still spawning or just gone and stuff, you can precast this and then get ready and then do your burst. And they will eventually hit the enemy while you're bursting. So this is only precast.
And then you just basically never touch your elite for the rest of the fight.
Then you never touch your elite for the rest of the fight, except phases downtime. So, like on Gorseval, everyone knows Gorseval, right? You will cast Lich Form while you're running in, and then you will cast it again, like after the split phase. When you're killing the 4 adds, you will kill the 4 adds, and while running towards the boss, you will cast Lich Form again.
Okay. So other times there's like an opportunity to do your opener again, essentially.
Yes, do your opener, but if you can already be doing your opener, you should be doing your opener. It's only if you cannot attack the enemy yet.
Okay.
If you're too far or it's still invulnerable or something.
Okay. Are there...
It's worth... Go?
I was just going to ask, are there like specific bosses that it's best used on or anything?
Yeah, just a few of them, but yes, they are. For the questions, I'll weave that in, actually. Both of those questions into one answer.
Sounds good.
So the Lich Form, the damage you get at the start will keep you ahead, damage-wise, for about a minute or 90 seconds, maybe. So on benchmark, which is something over 90 seconds, it's almost 1-to-1. On benchmark specifically, it's actually a little bit better to use Lich Form because it gets you to 50% health bar sooner, because you get the damage from Lich earlier, which makes you like get boost to your damage under 50%. So on benchmark, it's slightly better. But if the phase is longer than like a minute or something, it's better to use Golem, because Golem will keep doing damage for the whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But for phases, specifically those that don't last too long, and they have downtime in between them, where Golem wouldn't do anything, and you can recharge Lich. So yeah. All burst phases where you can precast Golem, it's better. So like Gorseval, you start with Lich while running in, and then you do the first phase. You will not have it for the second phase, but for the third phase, before it starts, you can cast Lich again, get all the juicy under 50% modifiers, and finish the boss. And for other boss fights, what is there? Ving 1, VG. Again, you will cast Lich before you can attack VG in the middle.
Oh, in each of the splits, maybe?
Veil Guardian.
Actually, yeah. I don't remember if they go in Vuln before you get there. Or, I mean, before you...
Yeah, they are in Vuln for a few seconds before you can attack them. In the splits. So you will use it on the first phase. On the second phase, you most likely won't have it back up ready, because it has 2 minutes cooldown. But on the third phase of VG, before you can attack him, you can cast Lich again. Then you can use it on like Keep Construct. While your teammates are pushing the orb around the room, you can cast Lich Form, camp it for a moment, and cast number 4 before you push the orb away.
Oh.
If you cast it too late... Oh, sorry, someone left for a moment. If you cast Lich Form too late, it's damage loss. It lasts a long time. So let's say I'm fighting VG, and if you're in Lich, you can actually still be helpful. You'll keep doing auto attacks and spamming number 2 to do some damage, to like add on split phases and stuff, right? And then they're pushing the orb. I'll cast number 4. They're still pushing the orb. And now they finish the minigame. I go into burst. There's a lot of time before the damage happens, so you can cast it like really soon. And Keep Construct is dead. If I cast it like super soon before Keep Construct burn phase and better groups, like I cast it and I go into burst immediately, it sometimes happens that the boss just dies before the things even do damage. So
yeah, because they take a while before they blow up.
They do take a while, yes. They're still going off. I also use it on Zera, because you can cast Lich Form on the platform before Zera and then glide to the main platform as a Lich. That's funny. It looks funny if you're gliding as a Lich.
Funny. Can we glide in here?
I can't
we can glide in here.
We can't.
We can't?
We can. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Boy,
so dumb.
sucking all the fun of the game.
But we can mount,
Yeah, that's strange. I remember they added the mounts recently.
so you can test mount damage.
Yep.
What about gliding damage?
Yeah. The Lich form doesn't add that much damage to rotation. Okay, it's damage because it's free, because you don't cast it. You always precast only. But yeah, it's just a little bit of damage.
Are you okay?
If there's a break bar, like any sort of break bar, you should be playing Golem.
Okay.
You will do more damage indirectly by speeding up the fight by playing Golem and doing CC and being useful than Lich could ever make up for. Yeah, they will follow you. You cast it. You can run and stuff. I don't think they will like teleport to you if you glide and like teleport.
Okay.
They'll probably just run and die on their way.
I love watching them run around.
Yeah. A little parade.
I wish the ones on Rise were more impactful so that it would be more valid to bring it in like raid.
Yeah, Rise is a defensive skill. Mainly defensive, like open world, because they reduce the damage you take. It's not good for damage itself by itself.
Yeah, I just use Rise in labs because it spawns the little dudes that can do tagging.
Oh, that's a good idea.
There's a lot of them. You have your little army. It's fun. It's a fun skill. Any quick questions, or we can talk about the rotation?
Yeah, I want to know more about Shroud rotation. Because we've gone over the sort of the beginning of the burst and basically what's important with
Yep.
your
right.
greatsword and util skills. So if you're not doing Shroud 2, I go in there and I do Shroud 4, and then how long do I auto attack for?
I think it's 6 auto chains, and then Shroud 5. It's if you don't want to count them.
Yeah, is there a better
you
way
should
to know
look
based
at
off
your
the cooldown?
There is, yep. So you have this neat trait. It's called Soul Barbs. It gives you damage increase for 15 seconds when you enter or exit Shroud. The duration is 15 seconds, and it's a good timer because you can see it on your bar and you can time things with it. So I do my burst opener, just Soul Barbs. And about I do like Shroud 4 and stuff, and I auto attack for a bit. And about the time it starts like flashing, you go out.
So you can do Shroud 4 kind of at any point while you're in Shroud.
Yes, it shouldn't be the first stuff unless you're like going really hard into burst.
Skill at least, unless it's a short phase or something.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle, after 2 or 3 or 4 auto attacks, even somewhere in the middle, you do Shroud 4.
Okay, that's really handy to base it off the Soul Barbs. Then, so basically, once it starts flashing, do your Shroud 5.
And exit.
And then exit. Okay.
So I go and it starts flashing. So I finish another chain, 5, and exit. And the point is, you now like spend time doing nothing, and then you go into your burst again. That's the whole rotation. You auto attack for a bit. I do Shroud 4. I auto attack a bit more. Barb starts flashing. I finish the chain, do 5, and then fill time casting my greatsword skills randomly until I can do the burst again. And I do burst again. That's the whole rotation. That's the general rotation concept. It's just this short loop. Outside of Shroud, what I was doing is filling time with the skills I have, because why not, right? No, don't recast Shroud on Reaper. The cooldown is too long, yes. And you get the Soul Barbs when you enter Shroud, and you enter Shroud almost immediately before any damage happens. You do 5-4 well swears, and before they even start hitting the enemy for real, you're already in Shroud getting Barbs again. So no precasting. This is not Harbinger. Good point, good point. The out of shroud rotation is very easy. You do 2 and 3 for damage, recharge some life force, then you do an auto chain. Auto chain resets your 2, so you press it again, and then you go into burst. I'll let So try the rotation a bit more, then I'll showcase what I mean.
Okay, I'll hop off. Whoops.
No pressure.
My dodging sound effect.
You're welcome. You're all welcome to test this, by the way, and just get a feel for it.
Excuse me, I missed the part on when you go into the Reaper when you first start the fight. Is there anything I need to push when I first go in, or just go into it and go back out?
No, don't go into shroud before the fight starts. So let's say fight is starting, I'm right here, fight starts, I run in, the first things I do is your burst opener.
Okay.
There's no precast, the only precast you would ever do is Lich Form.
But most of the time you don't really need to do Lich Form, so unless you want to be like really sweaty about your DPS, you don't really need to worry about Lich Form.
It's very little difference, so sticking to Golem is totally fine.
Okay.
One less button to press.
Okay.
So if you, I'll start timing things a bit so you can see how the cooldowns align. I do my burst opener with all the skills, 1 auto, 2nd auto, 3rd auto, number 4 because why not? And 1 auto, so that's 5, 6, 7, number 5, and the cooldowns are about the same, which is what you want to see.
Okay.
Okay. The cooldown for your Shroud and your Well?
Yes, cooldowns, that's the goal. Cooldowns for Shroud and Wells should align.
Okay.
If something goes wrong, and you do your burst, and you get kicked out of Shroud early, so I take damage, because I didn't press my number 3, and I get kicked, and they're not aligned, what you do is you delay Shroud. You don't go into Shroud earlier than with Wells. So it's up,
so
but I still
wait
delay.
For Wells to
yes,
be ready.
Only with Wells. You always wait.
Okay.
That's good to know. That'll help my DPS, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Unless, of course, something happens if it's really long time. So I would what am I doing? If I do my burst opener and I get kicked immediately, then I have time to go back into Shroud and still exit and then still have it aligned. So I would go immediately in, do two autos, and I still have time there. Now they're aligned. So yeah, if you get immediately kicked during your burst, you will cry yourself to sleep because you just lost all of your damage. but yeah, you have time.
But you can still technically go back in. But any more than a couple of seconds in Shroud before you get kicked, and you're just kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah, stop weapons rotations if Wells and Shroud come up. Skills worth delaying Wells for. Greatsword 4. That's the only one. But because it has lower cooldown than Wells,
matter, though.
It never. Yeah, 5 doesn't matter too much.
Matter at all. For the most part.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not up, if 5 is not up for whatever reason, you can skip it, and you skip everything else. Nothing else is in this bar is as valuable as Wells and Shroud. So yes, if I'm doing my weapon rotation and Wells come up, I skip whatever I'm doing. I don't even finish auto chain. I just go in. This happens on the Greatsword only rotation. So the Greatsword only rotation. I'll show that. If I don't swap weapons, you will notice there's a few moments where I have nothing to do. So I would do this. I auto attack, and in the middle of me doing auto attacks, this will come up. I skip everything else I'm doing and go right back into Shroud. And exactly those few autos that I did that were basically useless is what you replace with your other weapon set. So between shrouds, there's a very specific time you have between shrouds. It's 8 seconds with alacrity. So if I come out of shroud, first thing I do is start casting my skills. This skill, auto chain, 2 again, and then I have auto chain, and then I already have shot up. I have to go into burst. And the second auto chain is what we're getting rid of with the other weapon set. So I would come out of shroud, do 2, 4, 2, 3, sorry, auto chain, 2 again. I would cast these skills, swap weapons, do the other weapon set, and now enter shroud as soon as it comes up back up. And when you come out of shroud the other way around, so I exit shroud, I will cast the skills that do damage, swap weapons, and now it will line up with shroud again. This is the weapon swap rotation. The weapon swap rotation adds like 1k to your damage, so if you're not too fast, you feel free to skip it. But it is there just to fill like downtime in that you would otherwise not be doing anything. You just auto attack, which, yeah.
It gets
2
rid of
and
the
3
second. It gets rid of that second auto attack chain and the second greatsword too.
Yes.
Okay.
It gets rid of the auto attack chain. Sometimes the greatsword too. Depends on the situation, but yes, it gets rid of the low value things to like cast something else on dagger. What I was casting on dagger is number 3 and 2. Yes, number 2 is the stronger one. Number 3 is the one you skip if you have wells ready. If I had wells already like coming up, I would just cast number 2. If I don't have wells coming up, I would cast 3. If I have wells coming up, but I'm extra sweaty, I would cast 3 wells and then 2, and then boost the 2 with a shroud. And I'm getting lost in this, but there's a few things you can do. So normally, when I would do when coming out of greatsword, I would do 5, 4, swap weapons, and 2, 3, or whatever order, then wells. I'm doing this super fast, so it's hard to see. I would do 2, 3, and then wells, or 3, 2, and then wells, whatever. But if I'm too sweaty, I can do 3, then wells first to get them on cooldown, and then 2. And because the damage from 2 happens later, I can enter shroud before it happens, and then boost the damage by shroud modifiers. That's very advanced, but you will see the benchmark doing this. So if you notice them like not entering shroud immediately after wells, they'll actually delay the shroud by a moment to cast dagger 2, just so they can boost it with the shroud modifiers. And I can cancel the 2 aftercasts with shroud. 2 doesn't have an aftercast. You're not canceling the skill, you're just the damage happens after the skill is done. So you'll cast the skill fully, enter shroud, and the damage will go off after that. If you interrupt 2 and go into shroud too early, the damage will just not happen because you haven't finished the skill. You have to finish it fully. I'm trying to show this to you as I'm talking, but not sure how well visible it is. But again, keep in mind the other weapon set makes barely any difference. Of course, for the other weapon set, that's the full rotation. And you can see the benchmark video for that, or the written down rotation. That includes the dagger currently. Under 50% health, your Gravedigger will, as long as it hits an enemy, it will not have any cooldown. So under 50% health, you replace all of your auto attacks with a Gravedigger, as well as replacing the dagger 3 with just another Gravedigger and swapping the weapon later. I'm going really fast, but because time is running short, so sorry if something is not clear and stuff. You feel free to stop me and ask questions at any time.
All good.
Like zooming.
I really appreciate that this class, just like in general, or the spec, is so friendly to having a essentially like a low APM build, or a more simplified, or not, I shouldn't say build, but rotation, where, yeah, you don't have to worry about Shroud 2, and yeah, there's a lot of freedom with when to cast like Shroud 4, and you're all weaklings, and you don't have to do a weapon swap. But you could add like a bunch of that stuff in there if you wanted to keep pushing your DPS.
Yep.
It's nice to have that variance, because it really helps with allowing people to have an introduction into the class, rather than it being like, oh shit, I can't handle this rotation, it's really complex. As well as like, I'm going to continue recommending this as one of the classes that I recommend to people who are trying to choose their first DPS for rating.
I don't have my browser open, but I think Snowcross has a beginner Reaper
Oh yeah,
build.
there's like a beginner tab.
I think the beginner Reaper, if it's there, if it's not there, I will send you the link. But if it's there, you can find it, and it should be featuring a no weapon swap rotation.
Nice.
So you can, if you don't remember what I just said, it's gonna be that, but it might be a little bit outdated because it's before like fireworks was a thing.
Yeah. So it probably doesn't have a relic in it, but
yeah. And since the other weapon set is such a low contribution, I often use it for situational things. So I will have like a stacking weapon in there, which I will get my stacks on like stuff with Bloodlust Sigil. I will get my stacks to full, and then I will never swap to staff again, because you keep the stacks on all of your weapon sets. So after I get my full stacks, I will just camp Greatsword forever and get more damage that way. If you have full Bloodlust stacks, swapping to staff in rotation is actually damage loss. It's flat out better to just camp Greatsword with the extra stacks, because of course if you swapped to staff, you would be losing a whole sigil slot. While on Greatsword, you will effectively have 3 sigils, force, accuracy, and the Bloodlust stacks. Another like situational option, I have a staff with impact, which increases your damage to stunned or knocked down enemies. It's not too common, but for example, Keep Construct during burn phases after like the orb minigame, Keep Construct is stunned the whole phase. Stunned for I don't know how long, depends on the amount of orbs. So I would like be camping my Greatsword during the entire fight, but for burst phases, I would swap to staff to get the benefits of Impact Sigil instead. And then after burst phase is done, I will swap back to Greatsword. It is a nice technique. It's very situational and you can like adapt. But yeah, that's basically it. For single target boss fights, I will be sticking to Dagger because it's more comfy for me right now with the healing and stuff. And of course, Torch for CC.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about what I want for my alternate weapon set. I've always had it just on staff. I mean, it's nice for the range. But Dagger has a little bit of a range to it, right?
Yes, the 2 and 3 are ranged.
I might swap to that then. Although now I'm gonna have to try to get a Zaitan Dagger. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
I will show something. I just remembered I haven't mentioned the power of Dagger and the Life Force generation. So when I showed the rotation a while back, you would notice that I would be on Greatsword for the majority of time. Even if I was weapon swapping, for the most time I would be on Greatsword, except the occasional Dagger 2 and 3 skill. And I would do Greatsword 2, 3, and auto chain, and 2 again. If you're short on life force, if you're struggling, like Tracy right there, just got kicked because of damaging field, you can replace
I dropped him purposely.
Oh, good stuff.
Well,
so
we can
now
pretend.
Yeah, they did the rotation, and now they enter Shroud. Oh, they have full life force. Okay, I'll see if the damaging field is actually enough to give them trouble. I think not yet.
Yeah,
I might crank it up a bit.
Yeah, to medium or whatever.
Let's see. They're going into well burst again. Oh, they have plenty. Okay, they have plenty. I'll crank it up. I'll bully you. Let's start the bullying.
Oh my god.
Bully.
I'm not here to be bullied.
I'll bully myself. I'll show you what I mean. So, the rotation usually 5-4 wells, some shroud. I'll use 3 to get some damage reaction, of course. And because I'm taking damage as a Reaper, actually not enough. I'll let myself get kicked. If I did normal rotation, so 2, 3, auto chain, 2 again, and well burst, I'm low on life force, and I will get kicked now. Oh no, I didn't finish my shroud rotation. So, what I would do in this situation is abuse dagger auto attacks in a good way. I'll repeat the same scenario. I'll take a bit of damage. I'll get kicked, but instead of doing the greatsword rotation, I will get my 4 out and swap to dagger and auto attack instead of doing the greatsword part. And this will like boost my life force. I was too late there, but I have more life force than I had before. And when I go back, I will do the same. Instead of going straight to greatsword, I will camp dagger for a while. I'll just auto attack on dagger. Just chill. Before my wells are up. And now I'll go to greatsword and do my burst or cast some extra skills. And I have full life force. I'm at full now. If I didn't do that, I would be at a third.
So do that, like, so instead of doing essentially the like 2-3 auto chain, 2 again, more auto chain
on greatsword, exactly.
On greatsword, replace all of that with just doing some autos on dagger to gain the life force that you've lost.
Yeah. Okay. Doesn't need to be all of that. You can replace like the auto chain and the extra 2 with dagger, or you can replace all that. Or sorry, not all that. The greatsword 3 still gives life force, so I would keep that in. Okay. But the two twos and the auto chain that can all go and be replaced with dagger autos. Dagger autos have the advantage that they're not bad. They're not too bad. They got buffed significantly not too long ago, so you're still doing some damage, which is better than no damage. But the thing they do is supercharge your life force, and that is always way more valuable than the skills you could be casting. If you get kicked out of Shroud before you can spin and get your fireworks proc and like do a bunch of damage with super strong Shroud autos, if you lose that, that's not good. It's always better to sacrifice a bit of damage to get the dagger sooner. What if you know you're gonna get kicked out of Shroud? If you're like expect, oh, I'm low on life force, I will probably get kicked. You might think, oh, I will get my damage out by 4 and 5 skills. I will exit early and like save up life force. No, don't do that. Don't exit Shroud early. It might sound like a good idea, but it's better to eat it, to silently shed a tear and get kicked, and then like make up for it after the fact with dagger autos for the next loop. Okay, so instead of doing this and like, oh, I'm taking a lot of damage, I will do my skills and I will get 5 and preserve some life force. No, I preserved some life force but now I'm stuck outside of Shroud, casting super low value skills for a long time. You don't want to do that. It's way better to eat the damage.
While you're in Shroud. Okay.
Yeah, I'm lagging or something. Yeah, it's... Of course, you want to cast the skills, so... Like, yeah, I see, oh, I'm gonna get kicked. I better cast them sooner. But I still want to be there in Shroud for the duration I want to be, so the skills align, and now swap weapons and like make up enough life force for the next loop. I fucked it up now. I didn't cast my Greatsword 4, but because I'm trying to talk while doing it. But yes, that's the gist. I have low life. I will actually wait my cooldowns with low life force without resetting them, so I can show it again. Yeah, stay in Shroud as far as you are allowed to. Of course, not longer than you would want to. If you get to the point where you would normally exit, just normal exit. But if you can't get to that point, get kicked. So right now, I'll do my burst. I cast the skills earlier, so I could get the skills, but I get kicked instead of exiting. And I instead make up for it with... Yeah. And I try to guarantee my next Shroud is gonna be good. And now my next Shroud is good. It's better. Ooh. What I did there was pretty funny. So I got kicked so early. Like, let's say I get kicked here, that I would swap weapons, and I still have time to swap back to... I keep cancelling this skill. I have time to swap back to Greatsword before my wells.
And then just basically do a new burst.
Yeah, and you do a new burst, but now I have full life force, and I can actually afford to do a ton of damage. How many seconds left? Well, shall you swap to Greatsword? That's... I don't have the numbers.
Yeah.
It's all this is by feel. It really depends. I'm going... Wait, I'm now going from Greatsword.
Well, you'd want to swap basically to give yourself enough time to cast 5/4. To swap and cast 5/4. So that's what, maybe like a second and a half?
It's more about refilling your life force than filling Greatsword skill, that's correct. I'll try to show it. If I'm going from Greatsword, the burst. If I'm going from Greatsword, I will swap to Dagger when I can get my Greatsword 4 off. I would actually delay for number 4, because that's a big skill, and now I'd swap an auto attack. And now do wells.
Oh, okay.
Because Greatsword 4 is big. But if I'm going the other way around...
Where you come out on Dagger instead?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will stay on Dagger, cast 2, because that's a good skill. I would give myself just enough time to cast Greatsword 3, and 5/4, and wells.
Okay.
If you think you have enough life force already, swap earlier and add the other skills too. But chances are, if you get kicked, you probably want all the life force you can get. I actually don't know how much you generate. Hold up, let me actually see. So, I would cast 3. How much time do I have until I have to go back into Shroud? How much I generate? Not full. Okay, yeah. So you probably want to gain all the life force you can get. If you get kicked, you probably want to do just Greatsword 3 and 4 and spend as much time as you can just auto-attacking Dagger. This is the advantage, by the way, of Dagger. Absolute minimum, yes. Absolute minimum is number 3 because it gives, like, I think 12% life force baseline. So this is better than Dagger auto attacks. It also gives life force, but does more damage, of course. but the absolute minimum is the Greatsword 4. If 5 is not up, just skip it. Yeah, that's the part of the Life Force rod. This is the big advantage Dagger can do. This is the thing you can adapt, and if you get fucked over by mechanics, you can adapt and make up for it. If you are on staff, oh no.
Yeah, there's
Staff
only
auto attacks.
one.
Yeah.
Like your 2, that's like the only one that generates any life force, right? If you're on staff.
If I have this trait with staff, which you should have with the soul marks and soul reaping, actually all of my marks generate 3% life force, but that's so little.
Oh yeah.
3% you get times 4, you get 12% for all your marks, which is 1 dagger auto chain. I don't even know how much dagger auto chain gives. 4, 12. Yeah, it's literally 1 auto chain on dagger. And the auto attacks on staff also give life force, but they're putrid. They are so slow and deal 0 damage. Look at this. I'll just auto attack on staff. I am generating life force, but life force is going up very slowly. Okay, it gives 4% per, and I'm doing 7k DPS. Sorry, I'll reset the gun real quick.
Wow,
I was doing
that's rude,
7k DPS and generating life force really slowly. Whereas, where's my dagger? On dagger, the life force just skyrockets. But actually, I'm not doing useless DPS. I'm doing 11k, 12k. That's considerably better than staff auto attacks. That's double the damage almost. 7 versus 13 even after a moment. So yeah. So staff is fine, but ever since I learned this like, oh, I fucked up mechanic, that it just fixes your rotation, I almost exclusively play with dagger. Except when I need like the staff utility and the sigils I have on them, because I'm lazy to get new daggers with the sigils I want. But yeah, it's like in Dagda, the new Dagda CM, range, there's some range, but like whatever, honestly. But she just randomly turns around and smacks you in the face. Literally no one knows how the targeting works. I just know every time I go into Shroud Burst, Dagda just does a 180 turn and just smacks me in the face with her greatsword, and instantly kicks me out of Shroud, doing bajillion damage to me. Like, it's the law. Every time I try to go into Shroud, she just turns around and kicks me. And if I was on staff there, I would be crying on the bottom of the DPS meter. But I have dagger now, and dagger is a dagger counter, because the moment she smacks you, I just go no, and I recharge my life force to full before she can do it again. Yeah.
Maybe I will have to get an Ascended Dagger.
I highly suggest. It takes some practice because the skills are different. Fun fact, like on staff, we talked about this earlier. On staff, you cannot cancel the skills. You can just spam them one by one, right? Dagger is sad because Dagger 2 is a channel, which means you can cancel Dagger 2 by just pressing an auto attack, which is kind of unfortunate. If I try to cast Dagger 2, I can interrupt it by just auto attacking. So it takes some practice. When you're casting Dagger 2, you need to like let it cast actually before you press anything else. You can go into Shroud of Dagger 2. You can go to Shroud right after you finish Dagger 2. Yeah. You have to wait for the full cast. You don't need to wait for the damage. The damage happens later, but you need to wait for the full cast before pressing Shroud. And not only Shroud, you have to wait for the full cast of Dagger 2 before pressing literally anything. If I press my skill 1, I can cancel Dagger 2. I will do 2 and cancel it with auto attacks, because it's a stupid ability. I can cancel that and no damage. So I have to actually like wait and now auto attack. So it does take some practice. Or like 3-2 is safe. 3 is a normal skill. But 2-3, if I go too fast, I will cancel 2, which is not fun. So yeah, it definitely does take some like getting used to. Staff is much easier to play. All the skills are the same, and they're straightforward and easy to use, and you can skip them however you like. On Dagger, it takes some practice. It's definitely more of a skill expression weapon. Mainly when you can like abuse the fact that you also heal a lot with the combination, and you have some utility there too and stuff. But it is objectively the better choice in the vast majority of encounters. Gone is speaking to me. I hear voices. Any questions?
I don't think I have any more questions right now. Anyone else? Yeah, there are a lot of variables.
A lot of variables. Yeah, this is the life force brain rot too. It's like you're in every fight, you're not just damaging the boss, you're also actively trying to avoid all the damage. Because you know every hit you take is your damage going lower. So you're not like brain AFK doing rotation like a Scourge or Mechanist or generally whoever. You're like all the time watching out, oh, there's an AoE, I shouldn't move because if that AoE hits me, I am losing damage. And like, oh, big skill I cannot avoid, Shroud 3. Because if I didn't use Shroud 3, I would lose damage. And then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of low on life force, and I expect to one loop down the line get hit by a skill. I should probably try to do something about it before that happens. You know, is that you're doing like Deimos CM, Mind Crush. Even if you block Mind Crush, actually only if you block it, you get a debuff that damages you. And if you know when that happens, you're like, oh, next loop, there'll be Mind Crush. My team will block it for me, but after that I will be taking heavy damage to my Shroud, which I cannot avoid. So I should this loop do a Dagger Auto to get more life force, so the next loop I can keep doing damage without getting kicked. It's like all these mind games you can get into, which give Reaper an insanely high skill expression. And yeah, people don't think about these things because why would you? It's not fun to think about sometimes, and people want to just chill and do damage, and then you're losing that DPS. You will get kicked out of Shroud if you don't think about these things and feel bad about it, because your friends will take over. Yes, you sometimes want to pre-fill, for sure. If you're like expecting to get a hit load. I don't know, Slothosaur. Like, his Slothosaur is at half health. There will be shakes happening soon, and I'm not good enough to avoid perfectly all the damage it does. I might want to charge up. Same for Veil Guardian, but I haven't played Veil Guardian side strat in a while on Reaper. So green popping on Veil Guardian, the normal strat, it will delete your Shroud. Unless you have a heal Scourge in your squad. There's a funny interaction, but whatever. It'll delete your Shroud, and then there's like the dilemma, do I want to exit Shroud before it happens because it gets deleted anyway and save life force, or do I want to stay inside Shroud that 1 extra second to get some damage out and then like auto bit and dagger? I don't know. You can go really deep into these things. At the end of the day, you're just there to have fun, to blast and press some skills. So the world will not end. Yep. Should I stop all the shot and take the hit to my health? I don't know. Like, if you take a hit to your health, you are saving your shroud, which means more damage. But also, your healer now needs to heal an extra health bar. And if he heals you, maybe other people down. And you lose damage in your squad.
That's the healer's job. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but you can make their job easier, right? If they don't have to heal you because you just sacrificed their damage to survive, then it's too complicated. I can't tell you a solution. There's no solution. The solution is don't play your Reaper on Veil Guardian.
Yeah. My statics healer takes it as a challenge.
True. I love VG for this because it actually is a challenge for a healer. It's good stuff.
My statics healer one night as a meme, he did solo heal as his heal Tempest on Veil Guardian, and he succeeded.
Congratulations. That's good. I used to solo heal VG on Druid. Druid is very good there. But I will always go. People want me to do everything. They're like, "Oh, you're solo healing. You also will need to immobilize the Seekers, and how about you also tank the encounter?" And there I draw a line. I'm like, no. I will solo heal, not a problem. I will do anything you want, but I will not be tanking at the same time. Because I don't want to be dealing with watching my health on top of 9 other health bars in the squad.
I think he was tanking too, just because that's how he is.
It is doable.
That's me. I would, yeah. As a healer main, I'd be like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
We did it for Ready Check Cup, and I died a few times, but it's not worth the brain damage I get from that, like the stress, because you do a single mistake, you don't full heal a single player before a green, and now it's a cascade, and people start dying around, and you can't rest them because you're tanking. And if you turn the boss, they'll die and stuff. So unless I super trust my team, I refuse to do all these things at the same time. I will save myself the trouble. I will make the Quickness Herald tank because it's free for them. Or the Condi Virtuoso or like Scourge can tank. Anyone can tank.
Well, are there any more questions or details about Reaper? Because I should probably have us start to wrap up here soon, since we are technically over time.
We are over time, and I didn't even talk about animation cancels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go there.
If it's something that can be covered in less than 5 minutes.
Right, I'll answer the questions. Shroud 4, yes, there is an animation cancel. It saves very little time. So unless you're going for the bench again, you don't need to worry about it. If you want to worry about it, Shroud 4 should last exactly 2100 milliseconds, and it does 12 hits. If you look at my stream, I will touch your golem. Excuse me. Keep going. Don't worry about me. You can open your details in Arc DPS. Shroud 4. There. If you mouse over, you will see there's a hits, damage, hits all, and it's at 12. All 3 numbers. That's 12 hits. So Shroud 4 does 12 hits. You cancel the ability by cast. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, is it just me, or is Arc DPS not registering stability right now?
Generation?
No, like, I've got the all boons from the console, and in my Arc DPS boon table, it says stability is at 1. Oh, I guess it's saying just 1 stack, and it is just 1 stack. That makes sense. Never mind.
Oh. For me, it shows that
I don't have boon table.
100. Yeah, I don't use boon table.
I don't know how it works. One. Yeah, same. I've never seen Arc details things. Yeah, very useful. Or or in the log, if you upload the log of your attempt, you can go into skill details. There's like a section outgoing damage, and you can see how many hits Shroud 4 did. And if you go into simple rotation in the report and you mouse over the Shroud 4, it should last something little over 2100 milliseconds. The full channel is like 22 something. You can save a 150 milliseconds by pressing another skill. You cancel it by casting anything else, including auto attack, right about the end. So like here. And you try that, you look, oh, 11 hits. I actually missed a hit. So I will cancel it a little bit later. Oh, that was 12. Good. And you'd like try to go as close to the hits as possible. And this will take like hours of practice before you can do it well. And I go by like muscle memory, pure muscle memory of how long I know it lasts. I also listen to the sound. My brain is used to hearing the hits going off in like this rhythm. So you get used to it, but it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah,
It's a minor thing.
Is it sort of the full like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like spin rhythm kind of thing? Well, it's different per race though, the spin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can't go off that.
I know my friend, one of the benchmarkers, goes by where the scythe is, like on a clock, around your character. And he's like, when it's about 11 o'clock, he presses. You know what I mean? He's like looking top down and like he's counting 1, 2, 3, 4 spins, and then like at 11 o'clock he cancels it or something like that. I don't know actually the number, but yeah. So all the players like do a different approach. But what you should want to do is like try to make it shorter and shorter while watching the details window until it's too short and you miss a hit, and then go a little bit back. Be right back.
Okay. These cats are getting very impatient with me. Or Din Din. Man, that's gotta be like almost 5:30 in the morning over there for him.
I'm still salty that they killed the Signet build.
Was there a Signet Reaper build?
So the trait Signet of Suffering used to say that signets are active in Shroud.
Ah.
So you could put some passive DPS signets on and camp Shroud as hard as you could. And that was decent DPS for someone who's very new to everything.
Mm.
Yeah, everyone hated that change. The trade is useless now. It was really fun before.
There's no reason to take it now. Never.
Yeah, exactly. It's really bad.
But now it's like, oh, you can do a trade-off. You can lose a little DPS in exchange for just less effort.
Yeah, okay. It was bad.
Well, I think the only other cancel that I can think of, we already talked about 5-4 cancels. Did you want to mention the Greatsword 2 cancel really quick?
I did. I don't know how much time I have. I will have to be a little quieter now. So help me get the goal into 50%.
Okay. Get him.
Look at us. Smacking the one. For Reapers, feels good. Very pretty.
Right? The DPS meter is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm resetting my skills with Sack.
That's a good idea. Just do a lot of soul spirals.
Alright, that's enough. That'll be good. Okay. Can you disable the area real quick? Thank you.
Yeah.
So when you get to
Or someone
50%
will.
health, your Gravedigger instantly recharges when it hits the enemy. So I hit an enemy. Oh, I hit it again. You can keep using it. The thing is, there's this weird mechanic. Last time I tried to explain how it actually works. It took like 15 minutes. So I will skip the long talk now. But basically, what you want to do, you need to have auto attacks enabled, and instead of pressing 2 back to back, you want to click 1 in between it a few times. So what you want to do is press 2, and as it's about to hit, you want to quickly press 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Showing on stream. Because of how animation works, queuing the auto attack makes the Gravedigger faster, which means you can use it again sooner. So every time, right before it hits, or as it's hitting, you should press 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 in very quick succession a few times. Your wrist will hurt, your fingers will hurt, but you will get used to it, maybe.
I like doing it. It's fun.
Whew. Yeah, gonna have to get used to
You might
twiddling my
you
right
will
finger.
notice the difference.
Okay.
If you only like press 2 or hold 2, it'll be. If you hold 2, it's so slow. But if you get the trick right and you do like 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, it'll be like
You guys are
by a
synchronized
third
right
fast.
now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it should be about a third faster. So for every 4 or 5 Gravediggers, okay, fourth fast. Okay, for every 4 Gravediggers, you will get an extra Gravedigger in. It just speeds up the rotation. This is one of the cancels that actually saves a lot of DPS and a lot of time. But it takes the most practice, and even the best players often fail this. It takes a long time to get used to this cancel, and it's annoying to practice because it's only under 50%, so you actually have to get there first. And even one of the best players or benchmarkers I know struggle with this, and even me, I occasionally just full cast Gravedigger without actually successfully canceling it. It just takes a lot of practice. It's kind of unreliable. Yeah, I have 1 on my mouse and 2 on my keyboard, so I actually use both hands for this. It's a little bit easier, but yeah, that's the gist of it. You do 2, and as it's hitting, 2 1 2 1 2.
Okay. Okay, well, I at least need to wrap up there, and need to head out. So
Me too.
Stream. Okay, yeah, sounds like you need to head out as well then. Well, thank you so much again.
Thanks for listening
Yeah,
to me
great.
and being here.
Yeah, and also Serene Tempest, or Jen, who was here earlier. She had to leave about a half hour ago, but she wanted me to let you know that she wanted to thank you for teaching us.
Yep.
She didn't want to interrupt you, so
Glad to do it.
yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, and then we'll have a Scourge class also with Zargholl coming up soon, and a Harbinger one. I think
Yes.
those are all scheduled out in December. Scourge class is December 1st. Harbinger class is January 12th, both of which I'll try to remind you about Zargholl.
Yeah.
Since
You'll
I know
do the
they were
scheduling,
super
just comment talk.
Yeah.
Alright, as always, thanks for being here, and if you have any questions or any follow-up or want feedback on your rotation and stuff, just hit me up on Discord at any time. I will gladly help.
All right, well, thanks to those who are in stream. I'm going to go ahead and end stream there now. Thanks for watching.